make the tiny tassel earrings, you need a skein of embroidery floss, 2 crystal charms, 2 jump rings, 2 earring wires, 26 gauge wire, chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, and wire cutters, and you'll also need scissors. Here's one of our tiny tassel earrings. We want to show you what we're making. So this is the first earring. And to make it, what we did was start with a 36-inch piece of our embroidery floss. And what you want to do with the embroidery floss is then pull all of the threads apart. There's sort of 6 threads wrapped around each other, sort of twisted together. We're going to pull them apart in pairs. So we'll take 2 at a time and just sort of pull on them like that. And you want to make sure it doesn't get tangled as you separate them out. So that's one of our pairs pulled apart there. Now I'll pull another set apart, another pair, same way. Again, trying not to let it get too tangled. And now what we're going to do is make our tassel. To do that, we're going to wrap this 2 of the threads around a little piece of cardboard or cardstock. This is about 1.5 inches. So we'll just hold the end of the thread like that and start wrapping. And that's how easy this is to make the tassel. You just wrap it around and around. We separated the embroidery floss into the little pairs because it makes for a finer tassel. It makes it a little more delicate. If you leave them all together, it ends up being a little bit thicker and doesn't sort of hang as delicately. That little end I'm just going to leave hanging like that because it's going to end up getting trimmed when we trim the tassel. So I'm going to do the same thing with my next set or pair of threads. Just grab onto it. I'm kind of lining up the end there, and I'll just wrap that around the same way. And then we'll wrap our third pair around the same way. Don't worry about the ends getting messed up like that because they're going to get trimmed. And we'll leave that end hanging like that. So now all of our embroidery floss is nice and wrapped. And now we're going to take a 3-inch piece of our wire and we're going to bend that into a hairpin like that. See, we've got a little hairpin. And now what you want to do with this is take one piece or one side of the wire and slide it underneath one side of the embroidery floss where you've got it wrapped, and then just pull it up to the top, kind of so the wire is up on the top of the whole tassel, or what will be the tassel. And then we're going to just pinch those wires together really tightly, kind of pulling the ends of those threads together like that. Then we'll keep one of the ends of the wire straight and take the other end of the wire and wrap it around the straight one. We'll do that twice. 1, 2, like that. And then we'll trim that end. And I'm going to use the flat side of these cutters against my work because that way the end won't be pokey. We'll leave that for now. We're going to slide the card out and hang on to it because you'll need it for both earrings. We already used it for the first earring, but you'll want it for the second one. Set that aside. Now we're going to take a 4-inch piece of that embroidery floss, and we want to pull it apart too so that we only have 2 of the threads because we don't want the wrap around the top of the tassel to be super thick. And then we're going to wrap those around the top of our tassel. We want to leave about 1/8 of an inch, I guess, at the top, just a little bit of space from the tippy top that makes that cute little section that's always at the top of tassels. Wrapping it around, and then I'm going to tie it in a knot. And this will secure the tassel, give it that tassel look, and then hold all the threads together for us. Tie that one more time. Like that. And we don't need to trim the ends yet because they're going to get trimmed with the rest of the tassel. I'm just kind of comb them down to the rest with the rest of our threads like that. Now we want to trim the ends of our tassel, and we're not going to cut it across like that. We want to make sure that we get right down to the end by sliding the scissors in where that loop is at the bottom of each of our threads. We're just going to snip it like that. And there we have a tassel. I'm going to trim it to show you that if you want a long tassel like this, you can just trim the ends so that they're all about the same length. You'll want to kind of comb it to get them all the same length. You see I've got a couple that snuck out a little bit longer. So that's if you want a longer tassel, but we want ours to be a tiny tassel. So we're going to cut it really short. So we want it to be about the same length as our first earring that we made. We're just going to kind of eyeball it and cut it right across with nice sharp scissors like that. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And now what we want to do is attach this tassel to a jump ring. And to do that, we're going to make a partial wrapped loop at the top of our tassel. We're going to use round nose pliers, and we're going to grasp the wire right above where we did those little twists at the top. Bend the wire 90 degrees. Reposition the pliers so they're at the top of that bend. Wrap the wire over the top jaw of the pliers. And then we're going to slide the bottom jaw into that little partial loop there and finish pulling the wire around. But we're not going to wrap our loop yet. We're going to leave it open. You see it's open. We're going to take our jump ring and feed it on and get it into our little loop there. And now we're going to wrap our loop. We're going to take our round nose pliers again, grasp across that loop, and pull the tail of the wire around 2 times, like that. And then we'll just trim the end. And be careful not to trim your project. There we go. And if you have a little end sticking out like I do there, you can always use your chain nose pliers to sort of mash the end down, and it'll disappear into the rest of those wraps, like that. Fantastic. So now we're ready to assemble our earring. And to do that, we're going to start by sliding our little charm, our crystal charm, onto our earring wire. So to do that, you would take your chain nose pliers, hold on to the earring wire, and just sort of press it open like you'd open a door. I'm sort of rotating my hand so that I'm not pulling the loop apart. And then I'm going to take my beautiful crystal charm, and we want the charm to face forward on the earring. So we're going to slide it on from the back of the earring wire facing forward. Then you're going to add your tassel. So we're going to slide on the jump ring that's attached to the tassel, like that. And now we'll close our earring wire by using the chain nose pliers and just rotating it closed so the loop is nice and closed there. I'll just give it a little press to make sure it's closed. And here we have our tiny tassel earrings.